So, what does electroacoustic actually mean, and what does that have to do with all of the things that I'm using for my sound baths? Put simply, electroacoustic means a combination of both electronic and acoustic instruments, as well as working them in together so that it's not just one or the other. So I'll go into a little bit of how I use all three of those different kinds of combination. So the first and probably the most familiar portion of my sound bath is the acoustic element, mainly the crystal singing bowls like this. So that's the acoustic portion of the sound bath. Now let's talk about the electronic component. I've spent the last few years amassing a really interesting collection of synthesizers, noisemakers, drone machines, feedback loops, a lot of different types of effects, and found ways to use them in really interesting combinations to create ambient soundscapes, some really synthetic type sounds, something like these. So we've heard the acoustic side of things, and we've heard the electronic side of things, but now for my favorite part of the sound bath, which is the combination of both of those in really, really interesting ways. And that's using acoustic instruments and affecting them in different ways with some of the electronic instruments that I have. For example, I have this steel tongue drum that my partner purchased for me, and I have it running through a series of effect pedals, like guitar effects. And with that, I can create ridiculously interesting drones and ambient textures like this. And lastly, I like to incorporate my voice as part of the sound bath in ways that make it not really sound much like my voice, in ways that create more textures and hazy atmospheres, something kind of like this. So through the course of one of my sound baths, I'll be weaving all of these different elements together in really interesting ways. The acoustic instruments providing a very organic sound, the electronic instruments balancing that out with a very synthetic sound, but a very deep sound, and then the electroacoustic portion of it kind of balancing everything out in the middle, and in the end creating a texture of ambient music, if you will, or just a tapestry of ambient sound that you can fully immerse yourself in and experience something that you likely haven't heard before. So that's a quick walk around this setup. The fantastic thing about it is that I have this amazing combination of instruments and effects and tools that I can use to create almost an endless combination for whatever sound bath that I'm doing. So whenever you witness one of these sound baths, they're going to be completely different from each other. There's never been two that have been the same. In fact, in the year and a half that I've been doing this, I don't think there's been two that have used the same combination of anything before, and making the entire thing almost this impermanent experience where you come one week and it sounds one way, the next week you're going to come, it's going to sound completely different. And I really look forward to providing new and interesting sounds and textures for these sound baths. Okay, I'm going to sign off now, and since I already have everything set up, I'm going to play around with my toys for a little while and maybe record a little bit. But I hope to see you at one of my sound baths soon. Please check the event calendar for any upcoming events, or feel free to reach out to me through my contact form if you'd like to book a private session or your own group session. Take care.